Hello and welcome to episode 54 of the Talk Nintendo podcast. I am one of your hosts, Casey Gibson, and joining me this fine evening as always, the one, the only, Perry Burkham.
The SNES Classic has arrived, and a billion other games also have arrived.
Woo! I know, this week has just been insane.
Just flooded. I mean, if you are a Switch owner, there is a plethora of stuff to play. Even if you're a 3DS owner, I still haven't. I put a little time into Metroid, but my goodness, what a time to be alive!
Yeah,
seriously.
I need to go back and play some Metroid. I literally just cleared off 2 reviews last day and a half here, so
yes, you're a madman.
I'm elated to be done with those and to. I downloaded Golf Story. I'm not going to talk about that this week because I've literally only put about an hour into it. I need to go back and play Metroid. I played about an hour of that. Still need to wrap up Rabbids and Mario.
20 plus 1 games.
Yeah, then the SNES Classic. Jesus. I'm drowning over here, boys.
I know.
Saver. I was looking for preserver, but saver, and it was like...
Did you say life pervert?
I need a life pervert.
Throw me the life pervert.
Oh, we're already off the rails here, but why don't you
boy.
Tell the fine people what they have in store for this pretty hearty episode, if I don't say so myself.
Yes, today we are going to be talking a bunch of games and what we've been playing, as we just alluded to. We are going to have a beefy eShop. I mean, because I think...
Where's the beef?
Didn't like 18 games or something come out on the Switch?
It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, and then after that we got our old YouTube Saloon, we got a packed news segment, and then our topic of the show, listener mail.
Woo!
Yeah, and heck yeah, so we're going to get some nice listener mail, and also we have a listener what we've been playing segment.
Some more feedback, I love it.
Yes, so anyway, I think let's start off with you. What have you been playing?
All right, what have I been playing? Whew. Like I said last week, there were a few games I was playing, but I couldn't really talk about. But now that they have released, and one will be releasing the day after this records or releases, I've been playing a 3DS and a Switch game. Which would you prefer to hear about first?
Let's hear the Switch game.
Switch game, alrighty. So, I've been playing Tumblestone for the Switch. Now, this is a game, that it's come out on I think just about every platform you could imagine. It came out for the Wii U. I'd originally played it at PAX East a couple years ago, and right there, I was like, man, this is a game that I'm gonna have to pick up and play because it was so much fun in PAX. He had they had a booth set up with the multiplayer, and to me, that's the best mode in that game. So it quickly hooked me, and Caitlin really loved it, so we were both super on board for when it came out. Picked it up, played it, really enjoyed it, so when it was coming to the Switch, I was pretty stoked to get back into it, especially now that it's a game you can bring with you anywhere, and it's also a game that is just really great for pick-up-and-play multiplayer. And with the 2 Joy-Cons, that's all you need to have 2 players going right off the bat, because the controls are simple. Now, essentially, this is a match 3 game, but it's not, your standard match 3 game. It's
kind of like Tetris.
Yeah,
it's that.
Yeah, it's got, a very familiar feel for when you first pick it up. You could have never played this game, but it will feel almost like you have, but then you start to realize that the design in all these puzzles is really quite deep. It's not just literally mindlessly clearing blocks off the bottom, of the puzzle and just, trying to get rid of them that way. There are actually solutions to each of these puzzles. Now, in order to complete a puzzle, you need to remove all the blocks from the board. And to do this, you need to select 3 blocks of the same color in a row. So you do that, and then they all fly off the board, and then you can keep chipping away that way. It seems pretty simple, but like I said, the puzzles are actually surprisingly deep. The game sort of tricks you into, like, oh, there's 3 red blocks right in a row. Like, that's a nice, easy clear. Let me get rid of those. But then, you're left with no other options, and you have to restart the puzzle, and then you start to realize, okay, they're purposely baiting me with those right there. They want me to clear those out because that's the easy thing to do. But then you actually look, and you need to remove some pieces, and you need one of those reds later on. You know what I mean? So it's fun and sort of cool to see what they're doing, and then like picking up on what they're doing and not falling into the trick. So with single player, there's a ton of content. Like I believe there's 12 worlds with
like
30 stages each. Yeah. And it's the story itself is whatever, and then you just progress through a ton of different levels, and each world introduces like a new modifier, which sort of, and by sort of I mean completely changes up how you approach any given puzzle. So for instance, when the first world is just straight puzzle solving, but then the next world they add in, it's called like a shot blocker, which it's just like a block that you can't remove until you get every block in its row gone, and then it will disappear. So anything behind it is blocked until you clear that row. So now you're just looking at puzzles differently, and as you progress through the game, you get even more modifiers, where it shoots 2 in a row, or where on the 3rd block the entire column flips. So like now all of a sudden you're like, I see how the puzzle and I see how I want to attack it, but now the columns are going to switch on the 3rd block cleared, and it just throws a monkey wrench in the whole thought process, and then you got to sort of reevaluate how you look at these puzzles. And now that's a lot of fun, but the difficulty does spike pretty high on some of these puzzles, and I feel like like I said, each world has 30. Like, they're not all super tough, but then, every once in a while, there's a couple puzzles, and you're just like, God, like, how can I figure this out? But what is nice is you do earn the ability to skip levels. Okay. And when you skip a level, like a little token goes on that level, and you can actually go back, beat that level after, you've practiced some more, and you'll earn that skip back, and you can use it for a future level. So I thought that was a pretty cool little feature.
Totally.
Do you have a question?
No, I mean, it's funny because if you're an Xbox One owner and you had gold when this game came out for free when it launched. Did you know that? No,
I did not. That's a great game to get for free.
I know, and it was weird because it was like on launch day, like it was just a brand new game, and so I actually had this game when it launched, and I wanted to get on Wii U, but it was just kind of like, well, I already have it for free on Xbox, so.
And it was $25 for Wii U.
It's super expensive, So, but yeah, I remember playing. I didn't get as far. I don't remember any of those different things.
Those are
in the next worlds and stuff.
Yeah, you need to clear, but they're called modifiers.
Yeah, modifiers. Yeah, I don't remember that. But I remember the last time I played this game, I'm pretty sure that you were passed out next to me, and I was playing with Randy and Caitlin at like 1 a.m. in the morning.
It is Caitlin's favorite game. She loves
Tumblestone. It was so much fun. Yeah, and the cool thing is like there's like a handicap thing that you can put on. And it's like a really cool way
good.
of leveling skill with each other. And I can't exactly remember how it worked. I just remember it like adds.
Yeah, essentially what it does is you can add 3 weights onto any character, and as you add weights, the puzzles, pretty much the base puzzle that the person with no weights would get, you would get that puzzle, but then they add more to it. So it's still, like once you bypass the additional parts, it'll be the same puzzle as what the person without weights have, but it's going to take you a while to even get to that point because you're going to be working through the rest of it. So it gives them a head start, towards the end of the puzzle. And yeah, no, this is I love that that model of play because, like you said, it can even out, the competitiveness between the players, but it's also very welcoming for people who have never played the game to be able to sort of stand toe-to-toe with someone who might have, put hours upon hours into this game.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like, it just made it fun for everyone because, like, I even forgot, I think I might have, I don't remember who was better. Maybe Caitlin, or maybe I, the one that had it, I can't, but... Like, I remember it feeling good no matter what. Like, even if, like, well, you have those things on, so that doesn't really count. It didn't feel like that at all. So, but yeah, it seems like a great, match for the Switch. Like, especially with the Joy-Cons, like, because you don't need any. It's not. It seems like they would control just fine on there.
Oh yeah, because essentially you're going to use the D-pad to move left and right. You're going to use A to shoot the blocks. You're going to press B to restart the puzzle if you make a mistake, and then you have the L and R buttons. They're like a quick jump to the most left and most right part of the board. So it's very simple controls, and yeah, the Joy-Cons are perfect for it.
Now, if we were going to play this game online together...
We would not.
We would not.
we would have to bust out the old Wii U.
Yeah.
Yeah, now... essentially, the multiplayer, for me, is where this game shines the most. The single player is fine, and it has some, clever puzzle ideas. There's arcade mode and all that jazz. But multiplayer is most definitely where the fun is in this game. Local multiplayer is top-notch, and on Wii U, there was online play. But the Switch version does not have online play. And, I was a little confused.
Why is that?
Yeah, I was a little confused, so I was like, man, am I missing this mode somehow? Like, that can't be right. And, I was looking online. So eventually I decided to email the developer to ask him why or where and if the online would ever come. And he responded with, we believe that the Nintendo Switch is a unique console in that every device that ships in is already set up for local play, coming with 2 Joy-Cons that can be used as 2 controllers in Tumblestone. We've seen a lot of excitement for local multiplayer, specifically with the Nintendo Switch, and felt that Tumblestone fits this perfectly. Because of that, in the interest of releasing sooner than later, we've decided to release without online multiplayer. However, it is worth noting that because of this feature cut, we've taken $10 off the price of the game compared to the Wii U and the Steam versions that do include online multiplayer. We currently do not have plans to add it, but if future demand warrants it, it is possible to be added in a future patch. So, there we have it. The reasoning why no online play.
I guess it's cool that it's $10 off.
Yeah, I think $25. I don't want to say it was steep because I really do think the game is great, but I think it gives off.
I think it's steep.
Yeah, I think it gives off the illusion where $15. I feel like
it's a good game.
Yeah, a good price point, and for me, I played mostly local multiplayer anyway. So for me personally, it doesn't change how I play the game much, but I just think, for people who don't have anyone to play with and now no online option, sure, you could play against bots and there's several difficulties that you could change it up to, but it just sort of loses a little bit of its charm.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that's Tumblestone, and it comes out, does it come out the day that this posts?
I believe, actually, it might have been one of those.
It's not out now.
It's not?
Nope.
Okay, then it's definitely releasing on the Thursday it comes out, the 6th. I thought, it's, October 5th.
Yep, that would be the 5th.
Yeah, okay, Thursday, yep, yeah.
Cool. All right, check that out if that sounds cool. Now, I'm going to talk about another game that just came out, and it came out of nowhere, and that is Picross S.
You think the S stands for Switch?
Yep.
Imagine all the games just Super Mario 64, just Super Mario S.
Yeah.
Just everything was S.
Well, why not? Yeah, Picross S. So this is essentially, it's Picross E, the E series, but it's on Switch now. Same aesthetic. It's gorgeous. Looks great on the big screen. I actually am literally playing it right now. I just because it's a great little puzzle game. But that way I can jog my memory. So Picross, what it is, it's kind of like it's a little puzzle game where you're using the process of elimination to make a picture out of blocks. It's like a flat, not blocks, but squares. So it's like you kind of, at the end of it, it kind of comes alive and it's colorful and it tells you that was a panda, you know.
Mr. Panda?
Or, that was a ginkgo leaf. Duh. Or, curtains. Duh. You know what I mean? And then, let's see what else. Oh, a shooting star.
Oh, how beautiful.
Or there's one more. Oh, obviously that was a silk hat. You know? So, yeah.
I love that
they're great.
They note that it was made of silk, this hat.
Yeah, I know. It just now the cool thing about the Picross E series on the 3DS is the touch screen, right? Now you have those really quick controls because you can just touch where you want to go. Bim bam boom. Hold the L button or the up button if you want to mark it, or like it was like push up for mark or push right to put an X to say that there is no mark. That's how you play the game. And I was wondering, it's like, okay, so is this kind of is this gonna be the foray into touch? Because I think Nintendo has to do with these games. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's published by Nintendo. I really don't know. I always assume
it's published by Jupiter Corporation.
Well, I know it's Jupiter, but I'm wondering if Nintendo has any involvement at all. I don't know. Anyway, there is no touch control on these games.
Boo.
Yeah, I'd say boo, but also, this is where I've always said it. The touchscreen is not too good for this kind of games. Because really, how it is, like, it would have to be, you have to be really precise, and your fingers are not precise. And if you mark the wrong place, you'll get, it'll just throw you off, and sometimes you get punished for that and stuff. And like using a capacitive stylus, those just are not good. Or, you know what I mean? The rubber tip ones. So I was like, oh, this is weird. So it doesn't have it. But honestly, the controls are really just fine when you get used to them. Because it's almost kind of nice to have the A and B buttons, like A for mark and B for X. Like B to put an X on the thing, because it's just simple and you can kind of hold it and drag it across. So honestly, after playing it for a while, it really is. I'm wondering if it really makes a difference at all. It's that kind of a thing. So
yeah.
That big, nice, beautiful Switch screen.
I just wish they would release a stylus that worked on that. Like I said, whether it had like a little. Not like literally flesh on the tip, but you know what I mean? Some sort of where it registered that it was, touched, but like gave you that precision. Like, I would totally buy like a Switch stylus.
Yeah, you're right. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's not shipped with it, so it's never going to be fully utilized and stuff. But as for the game, I mean, it's great. It has tons of puzzles. It has Mega Picross, which are just huge puzzles. It looks great. I mean, they really have a really clean look to these games. But the fun thing is, like, usually it's kind of centered around one color, like in each one. But this one's really colorful, like all around. And the sounds and the music are great. So, I really highly recommend a solid, nice puzzling game. If you like crossword puzzles or Sudoku, anything like that, I think this is one of my if not my favorite out of those style of games. And I think it's $7.99.
Yeah, I'm on the Nintendo page. That seems like a really, really good price because generally these games
it's a great price.
Are like jam packed with puzzles, right? Like
you probably got like 25 to 30 hours at least of stuff here.
Dang. Yeah, that's for $7.99.
And it's great.
That's some serious bang for your buck.
See, the thing is it's just so great to have on your system. Because at any time you can just, whenever you have time, I just like a nice, relaxing, thought,
provoking.
Yeah, provoking. There you go. Title. So yeah, check it out if that sounds cool to you. It's weird. I was gonna pick up Golf Story, but then I thought, you know what? That's a game I can come back to, and I can. Casey's gonna get it, and he'll talk about it. So, but he's so swamped.
Next week, I will 100% have plenty to say about that game.
For sure. But there is a new game coming out that is for the 3DS. And it has Mario and Luigi in it.
And Minions.
And Bowser's Minions.
Yes, and that is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions.
Woo! That's like the longest title ever.
That's a mouthful right there.
Wonderful.
Yes, now this game was shown off at E3. I remember there was some rumblings of a potential remake before that point, but we were treated to this game in the Treehouse Live section of E3. And pretty much they showed off, the new styled graphics and Bowser's Minions in like a, gameplay demo. I honestly didn't really pay too much attention to it, the Bowser's Minions mode, because honestly, usually when I play these remakes, I'm playing them because I want to replay the original game again, and I'm usually not so interested in the added stuff, because it almost, to me, feels like, we're just adding this because we don't want to just literally release just the game, We need to give added value for the customer, like, hey, check out this new section. So, had I not done this game for review, I don't know if I would have ever even bothered to go into Bowser's Minions. But I'm sure glad I did because it was actually a lot of fun. So, I guess, let me start off with Mario and Luigi and the updated graphics, then we'll get into Minions to close it out. The game is great. If you haven't played Superstar Saga back on the Game Boy Advance, it is a fantastic game. It's the first...
It's a classic RPG.
Exactly, yeah. It's a first in the series, so the movement of controlling both Mario and Luigi, with the two buttons, A controls Mario's jumps and commands, and B does the same for Luigi. You walk around, you battle, you have the action commands, in battle, your standard turn-based, but when you do your jump attack, if you time it right, you get an extra little jump on there to do more damage, and you can actively play defense by properly dodging or, evading enemy attacks. So instead of just, spamming buttons and, not necessarily having to pay attention,
it holds your interest.
Yeah, it forces you to, which, is really great. Especially, I love JRPGs, so I don't have any problems with just standard turn-based, but it does, like you said, it adds another layer that actually keeps you engaged instead of just paying attention to, the TV while grinding out levels.
Right.
Now, what I forget about the most when I play these games is just how much platforming is involved. I think when everyone thinks Mario and Luigi, clearly they're thinking an RPG with turn-based battles. But the amount of platforming and traversing the environments is sort of lost upon me when I think of the series, but it really stood out with all the different command moves you have in this game that you learn over the course of the game. You're jumping, then you get your high jump, you can use the hammers to hit Luigi into the ground to sort of bypass gates and areas you wouldn't otherwise be able to get past. You can hit Mario with a hammer to shrink him in size so he can jump into smaller areas. There's the spinning move where Mario gets on Luigi's shoulders and they do like a tornado spin to get from one area to the next.
And the screw move.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. then eventually you get, more moves as you progress through the game, and they all present new ways to bypass obstacles in your way. And like I said, I just always sort of forget how much platforming it is, but I really do enjoy the platforming. The only downside, I think, to that is just having so many commands is dealing with switching to them, just because it's like, I got to hit L or R a bunch of times to get to the right one.
Actually, that I bet is a really big improvement over the original because of all the buttons you have now. I have to assume they made that better because I remember playing this on my Game Boy Micro, and it's just like there's 4 buttons here. You got A, B, and L and R. So did they make any changes to that? I wonder.
Well, when you're switching between commands, you use the L and R button to cycle through.
Oh yeah, you use the select button.
Ugh.
On the old, and it was just awful.
No, the L and R, it's not terrible, but it feels a little clumsy at times. There is an option to have them all displayed on your bottom screen, so you can just touch which one you want. But it comes
sounds awesome.
But it comes at the expense of your mini map. And to me, and sure you could I guess if you really want to, you could click this button to pull up that menu real quick, grab what command you need, use it, and then switch the map back up. But with how often you're using these abilities out in the world, that would be cumbersome, and I ended up generally just using L and R. It's actually funny, I was talking to one of the townspeople just by chance, because the dialogue is so funny in this game. I generally try to talk to everyone I can.
Oh yeah, it's a Mario RPG. They're always funny.
Yes, very funny and strange and wonderful. The one guy gave me a hint. He's like, if you hit L and R at the same time, it'll go back to your default very first one. So I was actually really happy to find that out, because that, it sort of alleviated a little bit of the pain.
You have given me wisdom.
Yeah. I thank you, Toad, from the bottom of my heart.
Now, this game's not as funny as not Sticker Star.
Color Splash?
Color Splash.
Oh, well
that's the funniest game.
Dude, I love that game so much.
It's so good.
Game of the Year.
2016.
But yes, essentially, like I said, it's pretty much your standard game brought into 2017 with updated visuals and music. I was a little worried at first that the visuals were not going to look as good as the original sprite work. I'm glad to report I was dead wrong on that. Graphics look amazing, dude. This game is so beautiful.
That's interesting, because there is no stereoscopic 3D.
That is really the only downside to the graphics, because it still looks wonderful. The environments look so good, watching waterfalls in the background. Just looking at all the detail, it's this game is beautiful.
I mean, it really was built from the ground up for this remake. If you've seen comparisons, when I thought of this, I'm like, okay, they're just going to bring it over and add 3D and, clean up some stuff. But it's like, no. It's completely remade. And it looks awesome. Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah, no, I was, like I said, and of course, 3DS screenshots never look very good on, unless if you're looking at it on the system, they always look a little worse. But no, the game looks great. I would have wished they did 3D, but, that they did not. The music is, updated music. To me, it wasn't as noticeable of a change, obviously as the graphics were, but they were put a fresh spin on some classic songs, which was nice. And overall, I really, really enjoyed that game. Now, as far as Minions mode goes, this is a strange little mode. Essentially, you get to a certain point in the game, and it unlocks, and then you can just... You go to your menu, you press start, click on Minions, it saves your progression, and then just jumps you over to this other mode. And it has a little storyline. You're a little Goomba, and again, it's littered with, comical bits here and there. And, this little Goomba, no one wants to take charge and be a captain, and he's like, I guess I'll do it, but I don't know if I'm worthy. And they're like, no, you have an aura around you. Yeah, definitely an aura. And then, they all snicker to themselves, aura of stupidness, and then later in the you meet some more minions and oh yeah, I could totally tell you're the captain. You've got that aura of stupidity around you, and it's just stupid little funny bits like that.
Right.
But essentially, what this game is, you start out and you have a captain, and then you assemble a team together of minions, and you go into little mini battles. How it works is it's pretty much rock, paper, scissors. Melee beats ranged beats flying, flying beats melee, and those are the three enemy types. And you're like, your Goombas are the melee, you got Paratroopas, you got Hammer Bros, Boos, and they're each essentially categorized into those three types, and you go into the match sort of planning, you know what enemies the other party has, so to be like, all right, this, they have melee and ranged enemies, so you sort of plan accordingly. You go into that battle, and they just automatically start attacking each other, so you're just sort of watching. It's sort of a passive mode, but there are things for you to do. The action commands come in to play in this mode as well, sort of randomly. I think it almost acts as like a crit. Like if one of your minions has a critical attack, it'll sort of set up like press A at this right time when he attacks to get an excellent and do extra damage, And then your captain has captain commands, which you have certain amount of points and different abilities where if one of the enemies is using a special attack, you can, press the D-pad to cancel it. And each direction on the D-pad is assigned to a different command, and you can have up to 4. Call for backup. There's like a boost the morale, which, all of your guys sort of, they start getting those critical attacks more often. And it's surprisingly pretty fun, actually. It's one of those things where it's like, I went in there and I did a couple of different battles. I'm like, okay. And then you start to get free reign where it's like, all right, you could really start assembling these teams and going in, and it becomes oddly addicting, and it turns out to be quite a bit of fun, actually.
Cool.
The Koopa kids are in there, and, you're trying to rescue Bowser, but the Koopa kids are now under the control of Fawful. He uses, spray to brainwash all the minions, and as you fight and battle minions, you sort of knock them out of their brainwash, and some of them join your team, and there's a lot of content in this mode, too. It's not just something you jump in, play for, half hour, an hour, and be done with it. If you want to see the end, you're going to be putting plenty of hours into this mode. And yeah, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised that it was a pretty fun little mode, and really just it'd be one of those situations where I'm like, all right, I'll do a couple, and then I'd jump over into that mode, and then I'd end up playing like an hour or two and be like, oh, well, I guess I'm done for right now. Maybe I'll go back to the main quest later on. And just to wrap up, what's cool is you actually encounter like NPCs from the main quest, like the Hammer Bros who make you a hammer in the main one. You meet them in the side quest, and they're talking, and it's just cool to see characters you interact with in the main quest, seeing them interact with the minions and what they're doing when they're not working for, helping Mario in his adventure. So
totally. Heck yeah. It's on 3DS. Kind of stinks.
Yeah, that's
because it's not Switch, and it's just,
Yeah, that's
I wish that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, I'm sad that most people are probably going to pass this up just because, like, oh, we moved on to the Switch and it's a remake of an older game. But let me tell you, if you still are playing your 3DS and you've never played this game, or you haven't played in a while, it still holds up. It's a really great game. I absolutely love, like I said, the dialogue and the story. The story is Peach's voice got stolen and replaced with bombs. So every time she talks, it explodes, and it's just weird, and it's got tons of really cool characters, and you go into the Bean Kingdom, and you meet, like, these little beans, and yes. I love when it gets weird. The hoo-hoos or the ho-hos.
The boss is fantastic.
It's just really a great game. So if you are still playing the 3DS and, you're looking for a fun RPG with, some added stuff to it, definitely worth checking out.
Sounds good.
Now, what have you been playing to wrap us up here on what we've been playing?
Yeah, to wrap, before we get to a listener's what they've been playing. Yes, I reviewed a game this past week called INVERSUS Deluxe.
Ready, go.
A lot of deluxes for the Switch these days.
Yes, yep, and I don't really know what makes it deluxe, but
Buzzwords.
maybe probably something. Probably because they added in the pink and purple sparks, and you can now hold 2 items at once.
Yeah, and battle mode.
And it comes with all the DLC for it. So yeah, do you know anything about this game at all?
I know absolutely nothing about this game.
Okay, now it's a very simple game. It's a twin stick shooter. It's very big emphasis on multiplayer because it kind of plays like, imagine if you were a twin stick shooter playing like Splatoon.
All right.
And the idea of, you're on this grid-based map, and when you shoot, your bullets make a path of your color and turn the grids your color. And that's what you can move around in.
All right, that sounds really cool, actually.
Yeah, cool idea. And so, you're playing against if you're playing against, 1v1, then, you kind of have these little battles, and you're on this little screen, and you can block people in. You don't have unlimited bullets. You have like 5 bullets, and then you have to like recharge. So you have to be careful like how you use them.
How do you recharge?
And then if
just waiting? Or,
sorry,
how
what?
do you recharge? Is it just like a time thing?
You just gotta wait. Yeah, you just gotta wait time. But it's like that can be crucial to just have them come up and shoot you. And if you charge each bullet shot, then they'll actually send 3 like on different different it'll go 3 across the grid.
Okay, yeah,
like
on
instead of a
different
single
planes or
line, it'll be
whatever.
3 lines. Yeah, so so that's a huge difference, right? Because then you have you don't have to be as exact when you're shooting. And then there's also these little like power-ups that you can get they just make them shoot way faster, your bullets faster, and I think that automatically like give you like a bullet so you don't have to wait for it, so those are fun too. But that's the gist of the game. The cool thing is, like I said, the multiplayer is awesome. Aaron came over and we played, and we had a lot of fun. We played at work too. Great Joy-Con co-op game to play. There's also a cooperative mode. There's an arcade mode, which is one of my favorite things, because it's kind of like an endless thing where you're trying to score as many points as you can, but you unlock different stages, and you actually get like experience points and level up your character and unlock like new colors that you can use and stuff like that, which is all good. I love when you can unlock stuff like that. Like it gives you something to strive for, and the cool thing is you start the game, it's black and white, and there's like a little cool texture on it too. Like it's not just like boring looking. It looks kind of cool, but as you unlock new colors, that just get like bright neon. It's like, whoa, this game is crazy looking, and like looks odd, and the maps just keep getting crazier and crazier.
Do the colors do anything different, or is it just more for appearance?
No, just appearance. But the cool thing is, it's like they change. It's like you unlock them, and then like you tag the ones that you want to use while you're playing, and so they'll randomly switch while you're playing.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it's just like you get so used to this one color, and then the next one comes up. It's like, whoa, just huge
Pops,
difference.
yeah.
So it's fun, yeah, and they're all really pretty and they look cool. Playing online is awesome. The multiplayer options are awesome. You can play online with your friends in this game.
Ooh, all right, I like that.
Yeah, like it's awesome, and you can play 2-player or 4-player, like 1v1 or 2v2, and you can also play, do that in local multiplayer too. So, one of the fun things online is that they have these little emotes, like emojis basically, that you can unlock too as well. Like when you level up and you unlock new stuff, that you can, like, after each round ends, you can like hit a certain button and show the emote, which is just kind of cute, like sad face or like a heart or something like that. You can find some funny ones.
No
just
middle
do
finger.
It, yeah, there could be. There's probably not though. But it's a fun game. I mean, the thing is it's not like a very deep game. It's just a very simple game, and sometimes the concept is better as a concept than in actuality. Like, a lot of times it's just kind of like you feel like it's just random that you got hit or that you hit them.
Yeah, that's never a great feeling.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, I wouldn't say most of the time it's like that, but a lot of the time it is. I'd say like, like a fourth of the time, maybe less than that. But it's nothing. It's fine. Like, it's not a big deal because they're so fast and everything, and you don't like lose anything. But that's just kind of a part. It's like, well,
a little frustrating.
But yeah, so it's not like the most incredible game you've ever played, but it is a lot of fun. It's fun if you like twin stick shooters. It's not like it's just really simple and really clean looking, and I would recommend it if that sounds up your alley.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now we're moving to what I would love to be a little bit of a staple for what we've been playing, with listeners, chiming in with games that we necessarily aren't too interested in, or not enough to pick up. So it's always nice to hear from people, and we've got Eric Mitchell, who wrote in to talk about Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Yes. Thank you, Eric. I just want to say that first and foremost. He says about Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, while I haven't yet played the Switch version of it, he says it's in the mail, I have played it on PC earlier this year. Xenoverse 2 is a non-traditional fighting game where you'll take to the skies to fight in a large-scale multi-person battle. You can play online and fight as many of the classic Dragon Ball characters, but the main draw for me is definitely the campaign. It brings a fresh take to the storyline of the anime. Instead of simply retelling the classic story again, the villain is traveling through time to change how key events played out. That's kind of cool. You can create a character. So he says it's your created character's job to find out where things went wrong and fight to restore things to the way they're supposed to be. Good. For better or for worse. The campaign comes off as a giant what-if scenario, and the hectic, fast-paced aerial combat replicates the tone of the series perfectly, making it very fun to play out. As a lifelong Dragon Ball fan, I can say that this game scratches that itch more than any has before it, and I would recommend it to any fan of the series. So, that's cool. Definitely, if you like Dragon Ball, that's good. But I think what's really cool is this next part. While the Switch version of Xenoverse 2 does annoyingly release at a higher price point than you'll likely find on other consoles, probably because they've already been out. There is an added incentive to buying this version other than the expected portability and motion control options. Until October 31st, so the end of this month, you can download the Legend Patrol Pack free from the eShop. This contains all of the original story missions from the original Xenoverse game that you can now play with the improved Xenoverse 2 battle system. You are able to download this pack even if you don't own the game, so if you would still rather wait for a sale, go ahead and download this now, and it'll be ready and waiting.
That's a good pointer right there to point out. That's
yeah.
I mean, that sounds awesome. The fact that they're going to give you every single original story mission with the updated and improved battle system of the second game. I think that's a brilliant.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know. That's like if like in Splatoon 2, if they gave you all the maps from the first one.
Yeah, where the full
free.
story mode.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that.
Or that. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for
like you said,
pointing that out, Eric. I mean, like you said, anyone that has any bit of interest should probably jump on the eShop and download that. Like you said, if you can snag it on sale down the road and have all that free DLC to boot, it seems like a pretty good deal.
Boom. Heck yeah. Well, thank you, Eric, for sending that in. You can email us what you've been playing at talknintendopodcast@nintendoworldreport.com. I was thinking about making like a like a little jingle for that, but spell it out, so it'd be like a minute long, like TALKNINTENDOE.
No, but it'd be like really long emphasis, like NINTENDO.
Yeah. PODCAS.
Oh man.
At.
Well, now we might just have to,
You know
for
what
the
I mean?
fun of it.
Yeah, I might have to. WORLDREPORT.com. So, but anyway, that'll do it for what we've been playing. Let's take a quick break now, and when we come back, giddy up.
Another unbelievably long eShop roundup. We are back, and it is time to get into that eShop roundup.
The eShop Roundup. Yeehaw.
And it's a good
Beautiful.
week, isn't it?
Oh, so much. So much is out on every platform. And we're going to start with the Wii U eShop, baby.
Ooh, it's the best time of the year when you're talking eShop roundup for the Wii U.
That's right. TurboGrafx games. Or game.
No.
I know.
I don't believe you.
I know. It's crazy. But we got Double Dragons for $5.99. And this is one of those old RPG adventure games where like you're going through like a first person mode, you know, and you're attacking stuff. And you gotta find the key to get into the place and
you
fight
just
the monsters.
move along and you do what you do and
Yep.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, are you sure this game is not called Double Dungeons?
It could be. Maybe I just read it as Double Dragons because of Double Dragon.
Yeah, I'm looking, and this is a dungeon RPG, and it was released on September 28th.
Hold on.
Here, I'll link it to you in the chat.
I swear.
Here, I linked it to you in the chat there.
All right. Are you sure? Yeah, that's it. I just swear.
Because I was
read it
looking
as
up
dragons.
Double Dragons, and I saw a ton of Double Dragon, and like Double Dragon 1, 2, 3, 4, and I was like, does he mean Double Dungeons?
Yes, I do. Never mind. It's called Double Dungeons.
Yes,
Forgive
TurboGrafx game though.
Yeah. Yep. And it just I mean, have you ever played a game like that?
I mean, I guess I want to say like Etrian Odyssey is sort of. It looks like it is that not quite the same, you know, but like that first
Right.
person sort of moving like tile by tile in a
Right.
first person view.
Right.
But no, I mean honestly, this kind of game doesn't look like it would appeal to me too much.
Yeah, me neither.
So
But-
might as well move along to the next one.
Yeah, now this game looks freaking sweet.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have not, but it is called Hive Jump for $14.99. Now, you have here that it looks similar to a 4-player Super Metroid.
Yeah, it looks like an amazing, gorgeous, colorful Super Metroid-like game. And if you see the screenshots, you will understand. It looks awesome, and it looks like it plays really cool. Beautiful, like monster sprite work, and
Really nice
Yeah.
colors.
oh yeah, like I want to play this really bad actually. It looks great.
Get in contact with the developers.
Yep.
We would like to review the game.
Yes, but can you port it to Switch first? Yep.
Yeah, Wii U launch in 2017 here. Still trying to stay alive.
Yeah, the poor thing.
And
but
that's not the only 2 games. We've got another game for the Wii U.
yep, what is that?
That is Super Ultra Star Shooter for
That's
$1.99. Now this looks like a cute little arcadey horizontal
like,
shoot 'em up.
Yeah, like Gradius kind of, you know. But
Now, what the thing is, you're shooting stars and getting burgers.
heck yeah, that's like
Uh,
how it is in real life.
that is so funny. Let's see. A distress signal from a dangerous planet filled with deadly aliens has been sent out, and the only Vawa can help. Vawa? Is that? VAU space WOAH. Vawa? Is that your character name?
Keep saying it.
But only Vawa can help. However, it's lunchtime, and a good hero never rescues on an empty stomach. Time for Vawa to start his intergalactic quest for lunch.
Intergalactic quest for lunch.
I like
Wonderful.
the bullet points. Travel an endless amount of levels. Collect power-ups to defeat enemy ships. Get burgers and fries. Try to get the highest score possible. Well, there you
Sounds
have
delicious.
it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's move over to that
Voila.
old 3DS eShop.
Vawa. We got a couple of big boy releases for the 3DS this week.
Yeah, totally. In a sense of games I have no interest in, really.
But they are
But-
physical releases.
Yeah, that's true. Weird. First up, we got Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Specters, or what I like to call Yokai Watch 2 Crystal version.
Yep. The definitive version.
Yep. So if that sounds up people's alleys for if they like Yokai Watch and they missed out maybe on the second one and then they want, you know, the one where you can get all the yokais.
Well, from what I understand, and albeit I have not looked too deeply into this game, from what I heard back in the day was that 2 was a pretty good improvement upon 1, and, you know, 1 I felt was a pretty decent game. It was far from perfect, but, you know, if they could sort of work to make that battle system a little more engaging, a little more fun, I think it has potential to really be a great game.
Giddy up. And the next game we have is Cold Sept Revolt for $39.99. Now, this is like a card game.
Yeah, I guess you build your own deck and you battle it that way. I've never really played any of these games because I believe it's a part of a series, right? Or I mean,
Yeah, it's Cold Sept, and it's like it's like a cult series.
Cold
Like
Sept.
people are obsessed with it.
It looks pretty cool. I mean, honestly, if I had, time, it could be potentially something that might interest me, but there's just no time.
Right.
There's
no time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I know. It's like I don't have time for the games I buy, so.
I know. I've got 8 games I've barely even played.
I feel like the eShop Roundup is turning into. Yeah, I just have no time.
Games we wish we could play if we could quit our jobs.
Yeah, exactly. But that'll do it for the 3DS eShop, and it's time to truck on to the Switch eShop.
Yes, and we've got quite a few releases.
Sheesh.
Quite a few might be the understatement of the century.
Yeah, and this was 1 week.
The back-to-back weeks of ungodly amount of releases for the Switch.
Yeah. I wonder how it's going to keep going, too. Like, is it just going to get worse and worse, and it's just going to keep coming, and we're going to go
next thing you
postal?
know, I was going to say, next thing you know, it's just going to be the eShop Roundup podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Not that it's a bad thing. I do enjoy the old eShop.
You know how mailman, they go postal? Have you ever heard that?
I sure do.
That's what's going to happen to us.
I hope not. There's too many games to go postal.
They just keep coming and coming. But, yeah, so the first one that we have up is this weird series, Physical Contact Picture Place. Now, I looked this, I saw that Nintendo Life had a review, and they're like, part of it said, like, it's a weird name, especially when it's basically just a set of Sudoku puzzles.
Yeah.
But,
getting all fancy with it.
Yeah, I love the translated text that they have on these in the eShop. Do you want to read that?
I sure do. It is a game series where 2 people can play against each other. So, ingenuity has been devised so that you can enjoy this game with 2 people.
It's just like
reiterating the same thing in a more confusing way.
It's a game series where 2 people can play together. So we made it good for 2 people to play together.
Yeah, well,
that's what they're saying.
I'm glad they decided to make it good instead of bad for 2 people to play together. They could have went the opposite direction.
I'm glad that they devised ingenuity. So, but anyway, let's move on to Tower of Babel for $9.99. Now, this is what they call semi-runner. And it's semi-runner gameplay in 3 dimensions. And I've seen this game, and it looks kind of cool.
It's got a cool art style.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like kind of like a bizarre art style where there's kind of a lot of different kind of looking elements.
It looks,
but it's a
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But yeah, it looks a little like not sketchy like in bad, but just like sort of like has that. I don't know how to pinpoint it.
I know it's hard, but it's kind of wacky looking.
I like it though. I like how it looks.
Yeah, and you're basically just running up this big tower, and so it's in 3D, so it looks cool. And anyway, we got Justin Nation. Yeah, he said he told us that Tower of Babel is really a temple run kind of endless runner experience in mechanics. Making your way up a tower, you'll dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Oh, so you dodge and dodge your way through
Does
a
he
variety
work for the
of
guys
obstacles.
who made Physical Contact?
Yeah.
The writers?
Trying to collect gems along the way. Okay, cool. If you make it to the top, you'll hope you only missed a few gems so you have enough to destroy it. Then you'll then need to go through the same sort of traps on the way down to complete the tower. From tower to tower, the traps will get a little more challenging and diverse. You'll need to deal with moving between lanes, and sometimes the perspective will even change from a mostly side view to almost an over-the-shoulder view. It isn't a bad game, but it is pretty repetitive, so unless you're really a big endless runner fan and dig trying to beat the leaderboard times, it may not be a great match. So it does have that thing where you go to the top and then you have to hurry back to the bottom.
Yeah, work your way down.
So it's kind of like Wario games, you know. You beat the level and you gotta run back out.
Yeah. You grab what you need and you get out.
Yeah.
Sort of a cool idea, I guess, but yeah, I mean,
it's $9.99, so
a little pricey for a runner, in my opinion, but
yeah.
But yeah, moving along,
anyway.
we've got Binaries for $12.99. Now this is a platformer where you control 2 spheres at once on their own paths. So, it's like literally like with the same control mechanisms, but they have their own paths each. Yeah, and it looks like the screen sort of split into 2. You know, sometimes it's split horizontally, sometimes vertically. Looking at the screenshots here, and it looks.
There's lots of like narration. So it's like, you know, like little text written. I don't know if it's voice acted, but well, I guess let's see what Justin says. He gave us one for this one too.
Yes, he said, a comment for Binaries. Have you just gotten started with it, but it doesn't take long to get the idea. In many regards, it is in the vein of recent games that have a left-right brain component, but there's also an element of I and me, just not really boring, to it as well. I and Me was another game. You'll control both a red and blue dot in parallel with each other. At first, it takes it easy on you as you get the feel for things, but within a few levels, you'll be challenged with a pretty wide array of challenges trying to manage avoiding obstacles in each screen in the parallel, or in some cases, being able to cheat by moving the balls into the opposite color where they can't be hurt. The crowd for this is probably pretty narrow since it's very challenging, but for the right gamers, I could see this being both addicting and maddening.
Ooh, I like addicting and maddening.
Yeah, so it looks cool. I do like the color choice of the red and the orange sort of play really well off each other.
Orange and blue, yeah. I love it.
Did I say red and orange? Excuse me. Yeah, orange and blue. But that might just be because I'm a Mets fan, so hits home.
Yeah. Well, all right. Moving along, we have this amazing-looking title, Conga Master Party, for $9.95. They're not going $9.99.
Nope.
$9.95.
They want to be different.
You have to fight to make the biggest conga line possible, and there's no rhythm required.
So you're in, Perry. You're good to go.
Exactly. It has pixel graphics, and David Lloyd told us, Conga Master Party is neat concept and is a lot of silly fun, but not a game you're going to put a lot of time into. After a couple hours, I beat the game and don't really have the urge to play it again. So, alright, good to know. It sounds funny.
Yeah, no, I saw a screenshot of the conga line. Looks pretty funny.
Alright, what's next?
Next up, we've got another Neo Geo game. First one of this week, but a staple for every week. This one is Burning Fight. Brawl with the mobs. Japanese and U.S. detective infiltrate enemy hideouts. Bit of a beat-em-up looking game, as you could imagine. And it looks good. I mean, big, beautiful
I like
sprites. Interesting.
The areas look awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, interesting areas. Like your
convenience store.
Yeah, you're like punching the shelves. Like, man, I hate this freaking... this ice cream container. But, yeah, if you like beat-em-ups, then you probably loved the Neo Geo.
And if you like brawling with the mobs.
Yeah. Always got to beat them mobs.
Well, next up we have Sparkle 2 for $7.99. This is a new release on the Switch. They say a superbly polished marble shooter action puzzle game. Which...
that tells me nothing.
Marble shooter action puzzle. Yeah, I guess, yeah. David Lloyd is doing the review for this. He says, Sparkle 2 is a marble match 3 shooter that's great for the casual gamer. Can kill time waiting for the doctor in 3-minute intervals.
Well, it's funny, looking at the screens, I've definitely seen this game before. It was not called Sparkle 2, and I don't think it was Sparkle 1. It looks like for some reason it's reminding me of a really old game that was like a flash game you'd play on the browser. Which
That's always good.
yeah, no, I mean the concept. I mean for a puzzle game, you know what I mean. You don't need anything too fancy. I mean the graphics in here look pretty nice. You know, but yeah, another puzzle game if you're interested.
There you go.
Next up, we've got INVERSUS Deluxe, which Perry talked about just earlier for $14.99. Won't really go much more into that.
Yep, it's good.
That's all you need to know.
Check out my review at NintendoWorldReport.com.
Boom.
Now, next up, we have Astro Bears Party for $4.99. And have you seen this at all, Case?
I'm looking at screenshots now.
It's really simple. It's really funny looking. It's really wacky. Here, let me explain the game first. It's like you're on this little planet, like little tiny planet, and you're a bear, and you're running forward, and you can turn left and right, and as you're running, you're leaving behind like a rope, basically behind you, like a tube, that if you run into it, then if you run into yours or your friends that you're playing with, you'll die. That's the end of the game.
So it sort of sounds a little bit like Snake in that regard.
Yeah, kind of, but like in 3 dimensions.
All right.
And they're really fast. And anyway, new staff member to NintendoWorldReport.com, Xander, he's reviewing it right now. And he says, Astro Bears Party was very enjoyable to play with friends despite the light amount of content. The concept is simple, but does not go much further than what is presented. It's extremely accessible, looks and sounds great, and makes every session with friends very fun. They're just short sessions. You'll probably end up switching into Mario Kart after 3 to 4 games. So,
all right, so it sounds like a little bite-sized game that might
it
be
actually
worth
looks
exploring.
funny. Like, yeah, it's a game that if it went on sale, just because it's on sale, I might pick it up,
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have multiplayer options, so.
Exactly. Now, this next one is very interesting.
Demo for the Switch, $29.99. Now,
yeah, see, I was like, man, $30.
Yeah, it seems like
what is this?
A pretty penny. Now, this is one of the most memorable fantasy rhythm games now available on the Nintendo Switch. Touch-based rhythm game, and I'm looking at the art, and it is really, really pretty to look at.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's unique. It looks very much like some of the art looks very much like it's like someone was just drawing on a, pen and paper, and then added some like watercolors or brought into Photoshop and painted it up a little bit. And no, it looks gorgeous. But
the gameplay, I've seen the screenshots. The gameplay kind of, I think you just tap the things when they come up on the screen.
Yeah, pretty standard.
So I think it's only playable probably on the touchscreen. I don't know if it says that, but kind of like that Voez game. But $30.
Yeah, that's a pretty penny for a game I've never heard of. But if you're into rhythm games, that might be.
I've heard
something.
good things too. Yeah, I've heard good things about it as well. So
cool.
Now this next game looks pretty fun and up my alley.
I've been hearing a lot about it. I don't know much about it though.
Oh really?
Nope.
Okay. What is it?
This is Butcher. It is $9.99, and it is a fast-paced 2D shooter and a blood-soaked love letter to the cult classics of the genre. So essentially,
I thought this was a spinoff of Cooking Mama.
Of Overcooked, of Cooking Mama. Now, you have here that it might sort of be closely resembled to like a 2D Doom kind of game where you're
like
sort
a
of
pixelized 2D Doom is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah. We've got a quote.
It's covered in blood.
It is covered in blood, and I'm looking at the screens. Very dark and sort of eerie landscapes that you're going to be traversing about. Now, we have a quote from Xander, and he says, Butcher is a creative, colorful adventure about killing all of humanity. It's a great entry-level game to 2D shooters, and even scratches that Doom series vibe. I enjoyed how fast-paced it was. its difficult settings, and the charm the game has. It often pokes fun at me where I pause the game.
That's funny. Cool. Yeah, I might pick this up.
Yeah,
I mean,
$9.99.
It looks like, yeah, 99 is that I'll pick it up. You know,
That's
I just
gonna...
loaded the eShop
Uh-oh.
up with some moolah.
Oh, then what better time? Just purchase it right now.
I know, but I just got
But
another
I've
game,
got
so.
14 million other games
Yeah,
to
no,
play.
shut up. Shut up.
Oh, good lord. All right.
I know. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, okay. Moving on. This next game, or games, should I say, Brave Dungeon plus Dark Witch Story Combat. I don't understand
Know what I don't understand? Why there's no
the
space
names.
after the
Yeah, that's how it's
combat,
written.
or before the combat.
I know.
It's
so
Brave
weird.
Dungeon space plus sign space Dark Witch space Story. That's not a semicolon.
Sharp
What's that?
F-E.
Yeah. Sharp F-E.
It's
Oh, God.
just so weird. Anyway,
well, how
there's
much is
two
this
games
game?
here.
Or how much are these games?
Yeah, it's $8.99 for the pack. It's like two in one. And you get a dungeon crawling RPG and then a card battling game. And I saw in one of the screenshots, it looked like Dragonite was fighting a snowman. So
Look at that cute little snowman.
I know.
And it's so funny. The little sprites are like, he's got like a little smile, but then like his portrait picture looks like he's a little more trying to be a little more intimidating. But it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're just a snowman.
I know.
And he looks like he's in like the depths of hell. How is he alive?
Find out in Brave Dungeon plus Dark Witch Story Combat. Alright, now this next game.
This next game is Pankapoo.
No, it's actually not. It's Ponkapoo.
Ponkapoo.
I just found out because I literally, while we took a break, I'm reviewing this for the site, and I had it downloaded and I started it, and then I heard the narrator say Ponkapoo.
All right.
Or it's like Ponkapoo.
Ponkapoo. It is $11.99. It is a 2D platformer, and it has some beautiful hand-drawn art, and you actually got to play this as well as I, now that I'm looking at the screenshots.
Yeah, remember this?
Yeah, we played this at PAX East.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was like at a booth with a bunch of other games.
It was the
that,
Play
like,
something booth, right?
Playware,
The plug-in
like
or plug-in? I don't know. I forget.
I
But
can't
no,
remember.
yeah,
Anyway.
it was yeah.
Yeah, it was fun, and I remember playing it there. Looked really pretty. I haven't got to play it much, but Justin has, and he says, Ponkapoo is a very pretty game, very in line with the style of the latest Rayman titles, but unfortunately, the moveset and platforming feel more reminiscent of old and forgotten 8-bit games, where your hero wasn't terribly capable, and you were expected to just grit your way through it. A lot of bottomless pits with disappearing platforms. In the warrior configuration, you can't block with your shield while in the air or throw your sword. Animations for some moves are overly long and leave you exposed. Just frustrating in many regards. Sounds like he needs to get good. That's all I'm saying. I'm just kidding. In this modern gaming era, I've come to expect my heroes to be fluid and capable. Ponkapoo is pretty well the opposite and suffers for it. If you can live with that, it is pretty and has a fair amount of content, but I found it hard to recommend. So,
That's sort of a
interesting.
Because,
Yeah.
like you said, it looks great, but, ultimately it comes down to how it plays, and if it doesn't feel great, yeah, you're not going to want to spend too much time in that world,
Mm-hmm. Well, you'll definitely hear my thoughts on it next week, so look forward to that. And speaking of my thoughts, you just heard my thoughts on this next game, which is Picross S.
Yes.
And a reminder that it's $7.99, and that's totally worth it, and it's great to have for if you have little short time sessions. And if you don't want to get Conga, no, what was it? What was the one that David said is good for? Oh, Sparkle 2.
The old Sparkle.
Yeah. The old Sparkle.
Next up, we've got a little game that everyone's been talking about, and that is Golf Story for $14.99.
Besides us.
Yeah, well, I can assure you I will have plenty of my thoughts ready for you guys next week. I wish I could have gotten more time into it, but just being so hectic.
Yeah, I've heard very mixed reviews on this game.
I mean,
So I'm excited to hear your. I mean, it's mostly good to amazing.
yeah,
You know?
I've heard
Nothing below good.
Yeah, I've heard good, and then I've heard like it has a lot of great ideas, but also has some things holding it back. You know, that keep it from being a great game. Like mostly, I've heard it gets a little repetitive towards the end of the game, but essentially, I played probably about a half hour, and it's a weird, quirky little game, and I'm looking forward to really sinking my teeth into it and giving you guys the full rundown next week.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, next up, One Piece Unlimited World Red Deluxe Edition. So this one also has the pink sparks. This is for $39.99, and I still don't know what kind of games these are. I don't know anyone who's played them besides Donald Terrio, who's reviewing it.
I love his quote here. Maybe might be the best quote we've gotten.
Yep, read it.
Donald says, "Kingdom Hearts with a storyline that doesn't require a PhD." That's awesome.
So plays like Kingdom Hearts, huh? Very interesting.
Yeah.
So
weird.
Yeah, check that out. If you play One Piece, someone write in about this game. I want to know. I just want to know what kind of game it is and stuff. You know. So yeah, write in.
Yes.
There's your mission of the week. Now the next game, huge game came out.
Yes, sir. And that is FIFA 18. We're getting sports games, boys. And it is $59.99, a full release. Now, we have a quote from JP Corbin, and he is actually reviewing the game for the website, and he goes on to say, FIFA 18 on Switch is missing a significant amount of content that's in other versions of EA's long-running soccer sim, but the core gameplay and the modes that are included are very strong. I mean, it's weird because I played this game at the New York event a couple months back, and like I said, it felt very good. You know, we were just essentially playing a match. And yeah, it seems like JP sort of echoes our thought, or my thoughts here, that what I played was fun, and it seems to be what's there is done very well. But it is a little, a little upsetting that such a significant amount of content's missing. But
yeah,
you know,
it's just Remember, this is huge news.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, and
I'm curious to see if this game, first and foremost, sells well, and what that will mean for next year's version. Are they going to work hard to get every piece of content that's on the other versions in there? Or are they going to look at it and be like, well, it sold with this, you know, so we can just keep doing the lazy approach? I mean, you'd love to think they would sort of go above and beyond to try and do the right thing, but you never know.
But then you realize it's EA.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't really have any interest in it. We'll see. So, the last game. We're finally to the end. Oh my goodness. Yeah, huge one. This one is Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time for $14.99. And I've heard really good things about this game. Now, can you read the first bullet point there? And this is an excerpt from Neil's review.
Sure can. Using the power of lovely friends, the players are tasked with working together to rescue these pals while also defeating the forces of anti-love.
Okay. Anything sound familiar there to you?
Two players tasked with working together to rescue pals while also defeating the force of anti-love. I don't know.
Is that not exactly what our podcast is and what it's all about? Right? The power of lovely friends, tasked working together to rescue and defeat the forces of anti-love. That's us.
I guess so. Yeah,
we are lovers in a dangerous space-time.
Don't say that too loud. I love you, Buck Strickland.
Manager? But I love you. Yeah.
Oh God, that's.
Anyway.
I was trying to connect it to a game. I'm like, what kind of
I
game?
know you were.
You dirty
need to
dog.
Connect it to real life. Connect it to real life, you. Yeah, so we have also, Neil gave us a quote for this. He says, "It's an optimistic game that's a bright light in a dark world. Also, the co-op gameplay is really awesome and can work well with a variety of different players. Single player mode is alright too." Now, I need to say that Aaron, my friend, he is super excited about this game. He loves this game.
I guess it's come out for PC or something.
Yeah, and Xbox or something probably. And he is a guy that does not buy games. Like he does not have a lot of games, and he's like, I'm getting that game. So it interests me a lot. I'm gonna hopefully play it with him. I've heard people compare it to Overcooked in like the
co-op
multiplayer sense. Yeah. So so maybe I'll play that with him at work and talk about it next week. Who knows?
No, that'd be great.
Yep. Anyway.
That's your
Let's
homework.
wrap it up. I know. Jeez. All right. We are done with the eShop Roundup, and it's time to stop at the YouTube Saloon. YouTube Saloon. Okay, so what do we have up on the docket?
On the docket, we've got two things. And the first one is a Mega Man X mini play, which I did this past weekend with my SNES Classic.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Not a huge Mega Man fan overall, but Mega Man X will always hold a special place in my heart. That's just one of those Super Nintendo games.
Isn't that like one of your favorite games?
Yeah, it was just one of those Super Nintendo games we got, and that I always found myself going back and playing. And you know, it's one of those games that's just fun to pick up and play after a while, and you're like, wow, this game's still great. So if you do have an SNES Classic and you haven't played Mega Man X, I highly recommend it.
Woo-wee! And then our challenge this week was the Mario Kart 150cc race challenge.
Woo!
This is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yes,
We
sir.
just had a fun time playing Mario Kart. That was a lot of fun. I love Mario Kart.
Yeah, no, it's we have a good time. We do 4 random races on 150cc with enemies or opposing racers. So to add some havoc and chaos in the races with all the items flying around, and turned out to be a lot of fun and definitely worth checking out.
Woohoo! Also posted is I have been posting some Kingdom play-alongs where me and my wife have been playing through the islands. So these aren't the most interesting. That's why they're longer. They're like an hour each. So if you are playing the game, or you just kind of want to check in and see how the game plays, I mean, I don't expect people to just watch these, but if just for fun, more like for
educational purposes.
Yeah, like trying to get through stuff, you know what I mean? So.
But you'd be surprised at how many people just enjoy watching other people play games.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. I just, it's not really meant for the sole purpose of being entertainment at the front. It's more like we're trying to do this, and then we'll record it. But yeah, they turned out really fun, and I love that game so much, dude. I absolutely love that game, and it's fun. I got David Lloyd playing it. I mean, he edited my review, and so he bought it, and so we've been chatting a lot back and forth about stuff, because it's just one of those games, it's kind of like a
how'd your experience go?
Yeah, exactly. Very on the playground, talking.
No, I totally get what you mean.
Yeah. And then also, I am doing the Metroid Other M mini play series. So every week I'm going to have 2 episodes up. They're like 20 minutes long each, and we're going to play through the whole game. So check that out as well.
Making moves on the old YouTube.
That's right. So that's it for the YouTube Saloon. And we're going to move right in on to
News Talk with Casey Gibson.
Alrighty, now, most weeks I start off this section by saying it's hearty. But this section, this week, is a less than hearty news section. We don't have too much to talk about.
It's lungy.
But but we're going to talk about a few tidbits here and there. So
All right.
we're going to kick off with just a cool little thing. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but when the SNES
sure
Classic released, Bethesda tweeted out congratulating Nintendo's on the release with a little mock-up box art of Skyrim on the SNES.
Very cool.
It looks really cool, and it just, I don't know, it's cool to see
I
that.
wish they made this game.
Yeah. Could you imagine like a 16-bit Skyrim game, top-down?
It'd be awesome.
Now, I just think it's cool. It just seems like Bethesda and Skyrim sort of Bethesda and Nintendo sort of have a real good working relationship at the moment. So I'm excited to see what games they continue to bring over, because they really do have a bunch of really good IPs that I think would do well on the Switch.
Heck yeah. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I wonder, I feel like this could be such a huge seller, we will see.
Yeah, Skyrim sells on everything, and to have a legitimate portable option, I think, is going to bode well. So
because I don't know, I mean, if you're a Nintendo fan and you haven't played Skyrim, you don't know. There's no online. Like, it is completely single player offline experience.
And what's nice about it is it's had enough time to breathe since Breath of the Wild came out. So I feel like people who love those meaty open world experiences that you sort of just go off and do your thing, it's been a while since Zelda, released. So, it could scratch that itch for anyone who really loves that genre.
Awesome. Now, this is interesting news. Super Mario Odyssey playable demos are starting to show up at Best Buys.
Yes, sir. Now, I've seen reports of people saying it's there, but then I've also seen reports, this coming from Reddit, of people going to their Best Buy and only PS4 kiosk with the latest and greatest Last of Us and Knack demos were available. So, it seems like your experience might vary depending on where you are.
Yeah.
I don't know, if you're close to a Best Buy, maybe it's worth shooting over there. If it's a little bit of a drive, might be worth a call up and ask them if they have it, if you are interested in trying it out. But yeah, so we're getting close, man. We are getting close. I can't believe it. That's why these eShops have been so big. Everyone's rushing. They're like, we need to get our games out before Mario.
Yeah, they need to, so...
I can't wait to see the eShop release for that
October
week.
27th?
Yeah, it's gonna be like crickets.
Hey, give me a week off. Jeez. Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Moving along and speaking about demos, Nintendo New York will have an exclusive demo of Rocket League for the Switch this weekend, October 5th to the 8th. Now, that also coincides with, I believe, all of Comic-Con. But it definitely coincides with the Nintendo World Championships. So,
now let's just put two and two together here. I bet that Rocket League is going to be in the Nintendo World Championships.
I sure hope so, dude. First off, it makes sense, and I think it also makes sense to drop the launch date at the event as well. So. That's going to be worth keeping an eye on. And just speaking of Nintendo World Championships, this weekend, October 7th, which is a Saturday, live stream starts at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific time. You can find that. I'm sure they'll be streaming that on Twitch and YouTube and anywhere you can think of. And what's going to be really cool about that is I will officially be in attendance.
Woo!
Dude,
That's awesome.
I'm stoked. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. What? I'm
stoked for you. It just sounds like so much fun. Like, can you believe that you're going to the Nintendo World Championships?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I feel like normally these things are done out in LA or New York gets some stuff, but usually not like a big event like this. So I was pretty happy to see it was in New York, and even happier to finally get word that I will be able to go. So check out. I'm sure I'll be tweeting some pics and stuff from the Talk Nintendo Twitter account. And if you're gonna be in attendance, hit us up on Twitter or hit myself up on Twitter, and we can say
And
what's
go
up.
hit him in real life.
Don't hit me, please. Unless if it's
You
with
should-
a $20 bill that I can keep. I'll allow it to be, I'll be smacked with money. I'm not above that.
All right. There's words for people like you.
Sellout?
Now,
or a hooker.
I was gonna say hooker, but you said it. So, now speaking of hookers, this next bit it's kind of disturbing. And I actually was playing this game after I found out about this, and I was like, oh no. But yeah, Super Mario World developer interview came out, and it revealed some interesting information, including that Mario is actually punching the back of Yoshi to get Yoshi to
stick out
put
his
its
tongue.
out.
Ay.
Sheesh. In surprise. So, and then what's more is that there's an added bop sound. However, it seemed like people would say poor Yoshi. So that's why it became that Mario is saying go.
It's crazy.
Interesting.
I-
And it showed this new Yoshi model, which looked really weird.
You know what it is? Yoshi is sort of chubby, and he's got like a big like neck and chin area, or goater area, if you will. And in this version, it is like non-existent, so he just looks like a dweeb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that big nose.
Yeah, I definitely recommend googling it. I'm sure it'll be pretty easy to Google, but
A dweeb.
he does he? Looks like a dweeb.
Yes. That's a perfect. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's pretty funny to see, and I'm glad they made the switch because I think his current model, or the current model used in the game, looked much better. It could have changed the fate of how fans looked at Yoshi forever. They could have hated Yoshi. Oh, the dweeb.
We might not know Greg Leahy.
Yeah, he would have never have gotten
As
into
he is now.
Nintendo. He would have been like, "Is this the best they have to offer? I hate Nintendo."
Yeah.
Could have happened.
Yep. Anyway,
Our last bit of news,
news.
and it's
Go
probably
for
the
it.
most salient news of the week, and it is that
So far.
Stardew Valley release date has been given, and that release date, well, if you're listening to this podcast right now, it's out. It's on the eShop. Go get it.
boom.
It is $14.99, and let me tell you, this game,
Okay.
I know there's been hype around it. I know everyone seems to really be excited for it. I watched the launch trailer, and it has got me even more excited for this game. It looks
Why is that?
so. First and foremost, I love how it looks.
It's gorgeous.
Like the 16-bit graphic. Oh, it just looks beautiful.
Yep.
And it just looks so peaceful. They're showing it. I recommend, if you have not seen a trailer, go check out the launch day trailer. It's on YouTube. It just shows you there's just so much to do. There's dungeon crawling and fighting enemies. There's mining. There's farming. There's building up your whole area, and it just looks beautiful. And now that I'm out of Review City for at least a couple days, I'm probably gonna pick this game up, and just this and Golf Story are probably gonna be my two games I just absolutely dive into this weekend, and I couldn't be more excited.
And fun fact, I learned this off Twitter, and it could be false, I guess, but that October 5th, which is the date it comes out, is actually the harvest moon.
Yes, I saw that as well, and I wonder if that was just happy timing, they're like, oh, nice coincidental timing, but if not,
it probably
still
was,
a pretty
but-
cool little thing. Makes it all the more cool because they're picking up the mantle that Harvest Moon seemed to have left by the wayside.
Yep. Well, that's going to do it for our news section. Thank you for wrangling those up. The classic wrangler. Casey,
That's what I do.
what was it? Cassie Gibbons?
Cassie Gibbons bringing you the Wrangling news.
Did you share that story on the podcast?
I'm pretty sure.
I think you were just talking to us on
well,
during
a quick
Splatoon.
recap in case I had not mentioned it. At my high school graduation, Mr. Yanni, that bastard, he had it out for me, man. I swear, that guy was a jerk. I didn't like him. But yeah, when he read my name for graduation, he pronounced it Cassie Gibbons, and my mom was heartbroken, man. And it's so funny. A couple of my friends' parents, they still, every time she sees me, oh, Cassie, come over here.
Cassie Gibbons.
And it's
so
and
good.
I could now hear me out here. I could totally understand Casey as Cassie. That I totally I totally get that. But Gibbons and Gibson, what do you not know how to read?
Well,
There's no
okay.
S in Gibbons. I mean, at the very end, but you know what I mean? Gibson, there's an S right in the middle there.
I feel like I have no room to talk because I got double dungeons mixed up with double dragons.
But the difference is that's, on a podcast where, I don't think too many people are going to be critical if you make one little error. It was my high school graduation, getting my diploma with my family there.
Yeah, but didn't he know you?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, like,
Well, he said he was out to get you.
Well, that was just because of an incident in the cafeteria.
Yeah, so he knew you.
Well, he might, I don't know, to an extent, but it's not.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't even know what he did at that school. I don't think he was a teacher. I think he was a guidance counselor or something. So I never really saw him, but
Gotcha.
his first name, I bet, is Jimmy.
Jimmy Yanni?
Jimmy Yanni. That's actually awesome. My name's Jimmy Yanni, and your name is Cassie Gibbons.
That's so great. It's funny because when I was in kindergarten, when I got, we get school pictures.
Yeah.
Like with like the whole class. Did you get those?
Yeah. You all sit on your little.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the first my kindergarten it was Perry. It was Burkham. Everyone always spells my name Burkham. They just think that's how it's spelled instead of UM. And so I just thought that was really funny. But then the next year, I was like, they better get my name. And I told them, I was like, make sure that you spell my name right. And and it came out and it said Perry Rurkum.
Rurkum?
Rurkum. They got the KUM part, but they got the B mixed up with the R.
I wonder if maybe someone wrote down your name very quickly and the R looked, the B in the beginning maybe didn't loop all the way back down.
Yep. But isn't that funny?
That's so good. Now, you want to, real quick, before, we didn't have that much news to talk about, so we'll get...
Yeah.
The biggest ball I don't regret too many things in my life. I feel like you can't live with too much regret in your life. But
right.
This one I totally regret. It was at my college graduation, and in order, obviously, college, there's way more students, and whoever's reading the names, they're not your teachers. So you pretty much go up to him and you give him a card, and you're just like, Casey Gibson, like you whisper in his ear, and he's like, all right, there you go, Casey Gibson. I should have done Cassie Gibbons, man. My mom was so excited.
And your mom was there,
She was so excited to hear my name for real. I should have done Cassie Gibbons, and just to see her face drop would have been amazing.
Would you have looked up at her?
Oh, I would have had to. Just been like, if I was smart, I would have been like told my brother, be like, videotape mom's face, like.
Oh.
I dropped the ball. That, like I said, that is one thing I look back upon and I regret.
Did you chicken out, or
you
did
know
you
what?
think about it
I thought about it immediately afterwards. I was like, that was a friggin' missed opportunity.
Just imagine it. Yeah, you're right. With your mom, if that was on video,
Missed opportunity. Yeah, that would have went. Missed opportunity.
Man, that's
regret,
wonderful.
man.
Cassie Gibbons. The missed opportunity.
All right. Well, that was News Talk with Cassie Gibbons. We're going to take a little bit of a breather, but when we come back, we've got your listener mail. Alrighty, and we are back, and we've got a pair of emails here, and I believe Perry's going to take the first one.
Yes, friend of the show, Nathan Sherwinski. He sent us an email saying, I thought of a topic I was hoping you guys could address in the show. I've never played Skyrim, or Oblivion for that matter. I tried Morrowind many years ago on the OG Xbox, but never really got into it. I'm on the fence about Switch Skyrim. What's your guys' experience with Skyrim? Is this where I should try to jump into the series? What do you think the main appeal of the game is? What makes it unique as an open-world game and a must-play experience? I'm also slightly worried that I'll have been spoiled by Zelda and the open-world fantasy adventure RPG genre. Looking for your guys' thoughts.
Alrighty, thank you, Nathan, for the email. I suppose, I'll give you my thoughts and impressions, and then you can sort of jump in there. As far as my experience with Skyrim, I got it for the PC, I believe back in the day during some sort of Steam summer sale. I picked it up, and I played it, and it was amazing. So the first quest you get was pretty much I got in there, and you make your character, you go through like some of the opening little bits, and then it's sort of like, okay, here you go, like there's a town over there and you can start exploring. And I went into this town and I was talking to this person, and they're like, oh, like this person's a thief, she's a thief of some sort, like we need to find her. And then you find her, and then she's like, oh no, they're bad, and then you can actually decide whether you want to side with her or the other, the person who originally gave you the quest. So it was really, I was like, oh, this is fascinating. Like, that's sort of a really cool idea. So I forget exactly the path I had taken, whose side I just...
So then you shot the woman in the head.
Yeah. Well, essentially what I think was, I was like, okay, like, I'll help you. And then it was like, she's like, all right, we need to go to this cave, and in there are a bunch of guys, and if we take him out, we could do this. So then all of a sudden it's like you work your way to this cave, and you get in there, and you're taking out enemies. Then you find that guy, and then all of a sudden he's like, she sent you here? No, she's bad, and if you help me take her out, I'll actually help you with this, and it'll be better. And then it's like you can decide to either finish him off and go with the quest as planned, or you can go back to the town and set her up. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. So then you go back to the town, and the plan's like,
backstabbing witch.
Yeah, and it's like, talk to her and get her to this area, and then I'll come out and do that. And it was just fascinating. On this one quest line, I jumped ship on like 4 different people. Like, originally I went in,
like you get convinced by every single person, like, oh yeah, and then like you become on their side, and then you go to the next person. Yeah, you're right, and then keep going.
Yeah, essentially, it's what I did, and I was like, this is, and it was more so just like, this is so crazy that the quests have so many branching paths off that one quest. I could have just gone and done what I was initially told to do or asked to do, and that could have been the end of the quest. But instead, by taking a different route, that opened up a couple more options, and then taking that, you know what I mean? It was just so really cool to go down the rabbit hole and see all of the different possible outcomes for this one quest. And I was like,
totally,
wow, this is amazing. And then after I was done with that quest, I was like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'll come back to this. And then I never played Skyrim again.
In what system?
That was I played for the PC.
Okay, gotcha.
Now,
well, that's why.
Yeah, essentially that was honestly it. I had such a unique and fun time, and I was like, this is really cool. And then I just, for whatever reason, I never went back. But he asks, what do we think the main appeal of the game is? And I think it's just that you have so much agency over how your quests play out, with so many different decisions. It feels really liberating to go in and say, you know what? I actually don't like the way that character was talking, or I don't like, I don't know, they don't seem genuine. I want to help this other person. And being able to go in and, like I said, just have so much agency over how the story and the quests play out, I think it just is really empowering to the player, And, I think what makes it unique, or what made it unique, is I believe this was really the first open world game to really give you a lot of those options. Now, don't quote me, because open world games have generally never been my forte or my main interest, so there could have very well been games that have done things like that beforehand, but I feel like Skyrim was the game that popularized the open world genre and really showed what could be done if the proper time and care was put into a game, that you could do these crazy things and these crazy ideas that had either never been done before or never done to a point where it felt that good. He also, again, he asks if this would be a good spot to jump into the series. Again, this is literally, Skyrim is the only Elder Scrolls game I've played, and like I just said, it was very minimal. But I believe, from my understanding, Skyrim is a good place to jump in. It seems to be, it's the game they parade Skyrim around so much, because with all the different releases, that to me it seems like it would be a great spot to jump in. I don't know how much overlay there is in story between the other ones, but it seems like everyone loves Skyrim, and it seems like it'd be a really good point to jump in. And with the Switch, it's a game people put hundreds of hours into, so being able to bring it around with
Thousands.
you. Yeah, seriously.
Seriously. I mean, my friend Aaron, so I have no experience with the game whatsoever. Never even, barely seen a screenshot of the game. Like seriously, it's just, but my friend Aaron, it's one of his favorite games of all time, and he's put thousands of hours into it. And, and I kind of know, I mean, and he kind of uses it as the base of judgment for all open world games, is it as good as Skyrim, and that's really all I know. So I'm glad to hear that you have played it, actually, and that sounds really cool what you're saying. So, I mean, I want to know, are you on board for the Switch version?
Yes and no. I don't think I'm going to buy it day one.
Yeah.
But I think it would
because we'll be playing Odyssey.
Yeah, well, they did give an official release date, right? I know it's November. Do we know exactly what day it is, though? I could let you know in just a moment.
I don't know, but yeah, I figure it's if
November 17th.
Yeah, that's only 2 or 3 weeks after.
Yeah, to me,
Odyssey, I don't know.
Skyrim seems like a good Christmas game. A game I'd like to jump in there and play, and like you said, it has such what's the word I'm looking for here? Such positiveness around it, and everyone has played it, and everyone that plays it has enjoyed it. So I think it's definitely something I'd like to put some time into and see what all the fuss is about. Like I said, I know I put very minimal time, and from what I played, I enjoyed. It's actually funny. Sandy, my sister, is a huge Skyrim fan. The running joke between me and her is that she never beats games. You know what I mean? It's like, what have you've beaten 2 games, and it's Skyrim and oh god, I'm blanking on another. She likes
Tetris.
She likes open world games.
Okay.
So I know she's put a ton of time into Skyrim, so I know she really likes it, and it's one of the few games she's actually beaten. But yeah, to me, it seems like a game I would like to put some time into, but I don't know if I'd put my money into it. So if I end up getting it for Christmas, that seems like a game that seems like a good Christmas game to me.
It's one of those games where I know that I am gonna get this game. It's just a matter of when, and I might be a day one. If I am Mario's out, I could see it being a day one, but we will see. I'm gonna have to see more and learn more about it. But
I think it could complement Mario pretty well too. Especially having, like you said, having Mario Bay out for 3 weeks. You probably already put
Mario's going to be the most polished thing you've ever seen, and the most gorgeous, wacky game in existence. And you go back to
buggy old Skyrim.
That's buggy old Skyrim. So yeah,
buggy old Skyrim full of bones.
Yes. But I do want to say, Nathan, thank you so much for emailing us in and about this questions. Great idea. I'm glad we could talk about it too. So.
And we've got another email, another friend of the show, Jonathan Boyden. He writes in, Dear P&C Funk Factory. I really like that intro.
I really like that.
Always enjoy the show and listen weekly. Keep up the good work. Had a few questions and thoughts. Now, he's got a few questions lined up here. I'm going to read them out, and we're going to answer them, and then he's got some thoughts on the bottom that we'll read afterwards. The first question he asks, are there any games that everyone loves that you just don't care for, and why? Any games that are universally loved that you just don't care for, Perry?
Yeah, man, I feel like I have. Do you know any?
I've got one that jumps to my mind, and that is Super Metroid. Now, it's not that I don't like it. It's just, I mean, I think it's safe to say everyone loves Super Metroid. Generally,
it's an awesome game.
Generally, you ask Metroid fans what their favorite Metroid is. Usually, it's Super Metroid. You know, you get some Primes in there too, but usually it's Super Metroid. If you narrow it down to 2D Metroids, it's always Super Metroid. For me, I've gone back and I've tried to play it, and I don't know what it is, man. It just doesn't keep my attention. I would, with the SNES Classic, I think I might at some point really just, like, I know those games aren't terribly long. You know, when I have a full day, just be like, dude, you're hunkering down and you're beating this game. You're just going to beat it. And see what the fuss is. Like, see if maybe after I get to a certain point, it just clicks for me. But anytime
it doesn't matter, even if it doesn't.
Yeah, even if it doesn't, just keep on going.
You need to complete it.
Yeah, it just seems like, anytime I try and go back and play, it just doesn't do it for me, and I lose interest. And, I went back and recently played Zero Mission, and I actually really enjoyed going through that. So, I do need to go and really give it a proper shake and grind through it, even if it doesn't catch me. But that is generally the one that sort of pops to my mind first.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something, but I cannot think of anything. I honestly would say something just for on the like very minimally, but the Mario Kart 8 for Wii U. That version. I like it, but I didn't love it. So, if that it's not that I don't care for it, because I do care for it, and especially the deluxe version.
Oh,
that version for some reason it's just like so much better to me. But I didn't like it because I didn't like the item, the one item, and I just felt like it was a very minimal upgrade from 7, and I don't know. I was just kind of like, I think it's because at that time I was just Mario Karted out. There you go. So that's the only thing. But like I said, I still liked it and I enjoyed it. But
not as fond as everyone else.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to the second question, which is, how have your gaming tastes changed over the years? I appreciate art direction and music much more the older I get.
I think I can agree with that. Now, I'm trying to think, generally, back in the day, I was always like, yo, how many hours is that game? It's like, I need as many hours as I can. And I think as I've gotten older and, more responsibility with working, full-time and just life things in general, I've learned to appreciate the shorter games more now. I really enjoy, that game's going to take me 4 or 5 hours to beat, and it's going to give me a fun experience throughout. Like, boom, that sounds amazing, especially I've been trying to go back. I've got Dragon Quest 8 in my backlog that I really want to go back and play. But especially now with the podcast and stuff, it's like, and reviewing games, it's like, it's hard. And then, of course, all of these releases that I continue to want to play, it's hard to squeeze in a 60 to 80-hour game into there. So I think I've appreciated, the shorter experiences, but also I do enjoy art direction and music much more now. When I listen to music, honestly, it's almost usually always video game soundtracks nowadays. It's so fascinating to me. I love being able to go back and listen to a soundtrack of a game I've played, whether it's a game I played last year or a game I grew up playing, and being able to listen to the music and visualize where that music, took place in the game, and I don't know, it's just really fascinating to me, the music and how it can add to a video game so much.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because this question, how my tastes have changed. Honestly, I don't really think they have. I have always kind of dug the. I'm just trying to think, like, in general, like, I've always loved music. Like, I guess the way my tastes are, it's like gameplay first, aesthetics second, graphics third, or whatever. I think they're all important, but I always have put gameplay first.
Yeah, gameplay is king.
Yeah, and I've always thought that, really, and so I can't really talk, like, I never thought about hours, like, of getting value out of hours of gameplay. But when I was little, I don't. Now I kind of do in a certain way, but yeah, they haven't really changed that much. But of course, I just think that my appreciation for art, direction, and music in general, just because of maturing as a person, like, just not even in video games, but everything has developed deeper. But I don't think my appreciation is more. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
It's different, but yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean,
interesting question.
Just to sort of piggyback real quick before we move on to the next question, I think especially with the Switch, and obviously Switch would mean it's a very recent change, is just how I look and play indie games. As a primarily, Nintendo gamer, so, with the Wii U and the 3DS, like, we've got indie games, like, were released on those platforms, and they were great. But now with the constant flood of indie games, I've really learned to appreciate, like, just the indie game and the small dev teams working together, and I just love that in the indie scenes they can take one concept that, might not be able to flesh out a full 10, 20-hour game, but can deliver that smaller experience with a really cool, clever, unique idea. And I just really love seeing passionate people push these ideas and seeing what they can do, So I think that would be the most recent gaming change, is just how I look and how I play indie games.
Yeah, it's inspiring. It's awesome.
Now this next question is going to be difficult. What is your favorite Mario 2D/2D5 2.5D game? Is your favorite also what you would say is the best? Has your opinion changed over the years? He says, I used to be all about 3, but now like World better. It's a tie to me as to which one is quote-unquote better, as I like certain parts of each.
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel like I would narrow it down to those two, but I really like New Super Mario Bros. U. And I love Super Mario Maker, but I know that doesn't really count.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Like, if it were to count.
I think I would say that Mario World is my favorite. I think that it's my favorite art style. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and the music is so good. Not to take anything away from Super Mario 3, because that's just a marvel to be running on the NES. Like, that game looks like a Super NES game.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, and so I just have so much. It's like I don't want to say I like one better than the other, just so, because it might look like I'm putting the other down. Like, I love them so much, but those are definitely the best ones, I think. Yeah, I was just playing on my SNES Classic, the World, and it's just, it's so smooth and gorgeous. And when you play like like one of the first levels, and you're going through, and there's that gigantic bullet bill that comes through.
Oh, sure do.
Yeah, like is it Bonsai Bill maybe or something like that? Anyway, and then the fact that you can like jump on it and just take it down, and it's just like so empowering, and it's just man, I love that game so much. I'd say Super Mario World is my favorite, and I'd say it's the best, yeah. But then again, the first Super Mario is really good too. You know, like not to put that away, because that's still pretty an amazing thing too.
Oh
for
well,
the NES.
I mean that started it all, you know.
It started platforming basically, like the adventure platforming, like the side-scrolling platforming genre, you know. So, which is my favorite genre, and it's still playable today.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So, it still holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, probably pretty similar. I mean, when you look back at the original Mario games, you know, 1, 2, 3 World. I mean, it just obviously it set the table for, you know, for Nintendo for video games. It's such an important game, you know.
Right.
2 is so unique and weird, and it's not really even a Mario game, but it is, and it's like I really enjoy 2 as well. I mean, it's strange and different. I love how different it is. 3, like you said, I feel like 3 changed the game, which is crazy. You know, like that was a game changer. And then to follow it up with World, which changed it even more.
Well, I feel like World was like so much like 3. You know what I mean? It was kind of like the next generation 3.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, what's people might forget when thinking back to Mario 3 or just how small the levels are pretty much. You know, you can get through a level pretty quick, and, you know, it's probably a bit of, you know, the NES hardware, you know.
Yeah.
But they're still crafted, you know, masterfully, and it feels and controls so good, the power-ups and all the fun stuff. But you really got to give it to World. Honestly, it might be one of the greatest games ever made, in my opinion. It is.
Oh yeah.
It just ramps up the ideas with the power-ups, the blocks, all the secret exits, the Yoshi. You know, literally all of these things. It just feels
like unlimited. You know, it's like it's so much.
Yeah, how it all of the elements and how they come together to present one just a. I mean, it's hard to call a game perfect, but that game is near perfect. You know what I mean? It really, like you said, the music's amazing, beautiful graphics, so many clever ideas. Just the fact that there are so many secret exits that every level you go into, you're you know, cognitively paying attention to your surroundings and sort of like, is there something hiding in here that, you know, is just behind the surface that, you know, a keen eye is going to find, and, you know, am I going to be able to find that and brag to my friends, you know? It's, I think it's hard to argue World is not the best 2D Mario game. And, I mean, I know people will argue 3. It's actually something I want to eventually do on the podcast is go back, play 3 full, you know, play a full playthrough of Mario 3 and World, and really get into the weeds and try and see which game does what better and really dive deep into it. That's something I really want to do in the future. But for right now, going off just, you know, memory of playing, you know, the games over the course of my life, I got to give it to World.
Yep. I mean, and if we could go, and he says 2.5D, and I'm thinking he means like New Super Mario Bros. But if he was talking about like
Land,
World, Super
3D
Mario,
Land,
3D Land or World,
I don't think those count. I think.
But I was gonna say, well, but here's the thing: is like when you're talking about shorter levels. I mean, I feel like, you know, those are very similar to the side-scrolling levels in that way because they are short. Well, at least Land is a lot shorter. I have got to go back and play 3D World. I need to play that. But 3D Land is my favorite Mario game of all time.
3D Land? Yeah, I mean, it is a fantastic game.
It's my favorite Mario game. And not to take anything away from any others, but yeah. And I love it for those reasons too. Because it's just expertly crafted and just so fun. Just so much fun. And that's what That's what, and like like the weird power ups in Super Mario World, like the cape. That is so weird.
Oh yeah.
You can like run up the wall and then like do the weird booing, booing.
Literally,
thing.
they're like, here's this tool that lets you skip every level.
Yeah.
Like if you get good at flying, like you can pretty much just fly over any hazard.
Yep. It's crazy. So. All right, so Jonathan.
Yeah, he actually gave his answers. I should have probably read them corresponding, but.
Oh.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Well, if you look, so his answer to the game that everyone loves, but he can't really get into or just don't care. He said, "I've been playing Super Metroid on the SNES Classic, and I really want to like it, but I just don't. I feel bad because everyone loves it. I just like the new worlds and sights and don't really like backtracking." Now, first thing I would say is don't feel bad for not liking a game ever, Clearly some games are just not your cup of tea, and like I said, I mean, we seem to have pretty similar thoughts that there's something about it not grabbing it. And, for me, I think backtracking, maybe that's why I like Zero Mission better, is that it's more directed experience. Like I said, I like to be pointed in the right directions with the ability to move a little to the left and right of that objective, So when I get into a game that's just a ton of backtracking, it's like you said, it sort of loses its appeal to me. So yeah, don't ever feel bad. Now, his answer to the second question about his games tastes changing. I also discovered I like happy, colorful, quote-unquote, easier games the older I get, as it is now a stress reliever activity. I also used to love sport games, but don't really play them anymore as they get boring in single player. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love a nice feel-good game, like a Yoshi games I always like because they're just so cheery, And I sort of am on the same boat with these...
Dude, Yoshi's coming out.
With the sport games, I used to get Madden yearly. I haven't got Madden in like 2 years now. Mainly because I've been more into gaming now than I ever have been, so there's just been so many other games. I don't really want to waste my time playing a Madden game.
Right.
Like it's the same experience, and don't get me wrong, I love it, but I just, if they release Madden on Switch, I'll buy it. But
all right.
Yeah. And then lastly, he says, "I am thankful that Perry shares openly that he doesn't play many RPGs, in parentheses, Final Fantasy, Pokemon, Chrono, etc., because I have tried to get into them for years and they're just too long. I always play about 5 hours and then quit. Peace, Jonathan."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like the only RPGs I've really played through have Mario in it. Or it's like Pokemon, like
baby's first RPG.
and then like Earthbound. But otherwise, like Xenoblade. I've played through Xenoblade.
That's a goodie.
I felt good about that too. I felt like that was
that's a good one to pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I am open about this. I think that's fine to be open about your RPG habits. Casey is a madman with RPGs.
I feel like
he's the RPG wrangler.
I feel like a fraud. I haven't played it. I mean, I guess I just played Mario Luigi, but I haven't played.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
I haven't played an RPG in so dang long.
Didn't you just play Mario Luigi and then right before that play Super Mario RPG?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's like those are RPGs, of course, but like
SMT, Dragon Quest VII.
Don't worry. I now that I'm got a little bit of a lull. It's once I polish off a couple of these games I'm playing, I'm jumping into Final Fantasy 3 on my Super NES Classic, and I can't wait.
Oh, phew! Because I was worried.
I know.
I was so worried.
You probably were losing sleep over it, but that's okay.
I was. Thanks, though.
But thanks to Jonathan and Nathan, both great emails.
And Eric.
And Eric, yes. I'm forgetting from way back in the beginning of the podcast.
Yep.
No, thank you for everyone for writing in. We always love to hear from you guys. What you've been playing, any questions you have, always can email or tweet in at us.
Yeah, and sometimes you get bonuses for following us.
Yes, a bonus indeed. And this week, we're bringing back. It's been too long since we've done a good old-fashioned giveaway, and
Yeah, Chicken Wiggle was the last one.
And in honor of that, we're gonna do 2 giveaways, and they're both gonna be for $10 eShop cards, North American versions.
You can use those on your Wii U, your 3DS, and
your Switch too.
Your Switch.
And actually,
now I just realized something real quick. Something that we should have had in the news section is that they're closing down the Wii shop.
Oh my goodness, how did I miss that?
Yeah, isn't that
I thought I wrote that.
crazy?
Yeah, it's not
We'll
that
have to talk
crazy.
about that. It is though. That's crazy, but it's sad.
It's sad. It's sad.
That's the end of an era,
No, I think we'll definitely make note a belated news block piece for next week.
Right.
But
All right.
All right, so
anyway, back to our giveaway.
We're going to be giving away 2 $10 eShop cards. There are going to be 2 ways to enter. The first one, super simple. You're listening to this podcast on your iPod or your no one's listening to this on an iPad. On your iPhone or your phone, you go
Maybe
into
iPod
the
Touch.
app, click on the description. There's a link to our YouTube. Subscribe on
so-
YouTube. You're entered to win.
I need to say this because I didn't realize this. Okay. Whenever he says that you can click on the link in our description, I, for some reason, for a year now, meant that, like, on the article on Nintendo World Report, but literally on your iPhone, like, right now, if you're listening to it, if you look at our episode, if you, like, go back, and let's see, if you hit the...
Under the description.
see full description. And then it has our timestamps, so you can go around there, and then you can click this little button, a little link that goes straight to our YouTube. It's awesome. I just wanted to put that out there. Just because if I was confused, other people might be confused. That's why I wanted to.
Yeah, so you go there. Any and all subscribers on YouTube are entered to win this $10 eShop card. We're currently at just over 90 subscribers, so there's a pretty decent chance if you're following that you have a good chance to win. Now, the other $10 eShop card, we want you to tweet at us at Talk Nintendo Pod. That is Talk Nintendo POD. And we want you to tell us your most anticipated holiday release, excluding Mario Odyssey, just because most likely that would be the first choice for almost everyone, I'd imagine. So we want to hear what other games you're excited to hear about. So you follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, and you tweet in at us, and you'll enter to win a $10 eShop card that way. So, to reiterate, 2 ways to enter. Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe and tweet at us your most anticipated holiday release outside of Mario Odyssey. Yeah, if you want to chime in with your least excited game, we'll also accept that as a valid answer. Now,
I do not want that TurboGrafx 16 game coming out on the Wii U.
Yeah, I hate it. So I will be making an image that details how to enter. So if you want to just head over to our Twitter page, you'll find all of the information over there as well. But we hope you enter, and we look forward to giving those away next week on recording. So without further ado, I think that's going to bring us to the end of our show. I don't have anything else to say, so you got anything to say before we head out?
Nope.
Alrighty then, we will see you next week.
Giddy up.
Vawa can help. Vawa? Yeah. Don't hit me, please.
Oh, that was a ginkgo leaf.
Duh.
WORLDREPORT.com.
Now, are you sure this game is not called Double Dungeons?